Welcome, friends. Welcome to our Saturday webinars. And today's topic is analysis of selected adjudication orders passed by ROC vis-a-vis role of Company Secretary. And today our presenter is, for a change, Mr. Arun Bala, who used to always moderate. Today he's a presenter. And today our panelist is our old good friend, Tirupal. Gauri is a fellow member of ICSI and partner at Tirupal, my pronunciation, and associates, LLP Bangalore, a become graduate, and he started practice in 2004 after serving as a CS in listed and unlisted companies. He is registered IP and handling various cases. He appears before NCLT, ROC, RD, RBI, and other authorities. He is contributor to ICICI Premier on company law, and he's also a frequent speaker at various forums organized by ICICI, ICI, IM, IOD, and other institutions. Welcome, Tirupal. Thanks a lot for your time. Mr. Bala, today we are introducing, though everyone knows him, he is having more than 4 decades of experience in secretary compliance. He worked with COSECO India Limited, and is a regular speaker at ICICI CCGRT and regularly contribute in various magazines, including Charter Secretary ICICI. Friends, everyone knows him because all the decided cases he has Bible under the Companies Act. And that's why today's our topic is that only judicial analysis of decided cases. Of course, we have our own Sudhakar, who don't need any introduction. So with this, I'll just hand over to Mr. Bala, Mr. Sudhakar today, not Mr. Bala as usual I'm doing. And then Mr. Tirupal and then Mr. Bala can start.
Tirupal do first and then after that I will add to that. Tirupal,
Yeah,
you please.
Tirupal.
Yeah, good morning to all. I thank the Mehta and Mehta Madam and Deepti and Sudhakar sir and Balakrishna sir and the Mehta and Mehta organization for giving me this opportunity to enhance my knowledge on this particular current topic and which is burning issue across India in the corporate world, even for small companies. So I do appear here and there regularly. So I try to share my knowledge, what I had with the practically, I'll try to share it knowledge. And this subject is a very close to my heart because I have been advocating. This is the concept where company secretary alone can appear before the regional director. That is an appeal. Even the regular e-adjudication cases before the ROC as a adjudicating officer. We are the more appropriate persons to appear and present the case, our case against the presenting officer. Here I would like to request our members, maybe in employment or in practice, to have a clarity of the law. In fact, the clarity of law makes you, in my at least 3 or 4 orders, the amount was substantially reduced by the regional director, though ROC was not able to reduce any amount because of the minimum that is there in the section. However, if you are able to produce, properly, one is the evidence that you have and the law other side, and you are able to correlate both the evidence and the law, and then they are inclined to, listen to you, though it may be a situation where the dicey situation RD may not be able to make any judgment on it based on your material, but your articulation, what you are going to place before that in the appeal, certainly make the substantial amount reduction in the penalty that been levied. In one of my client case, it was a non-appointment of a managing director like a KMP and all. It was a public limited company. 203 was the non-compliance. Subsection 5 of the 203 says minimum is a 5 lakhs for the company, then 50,000 to the officer. Again, there is a continued penalty up to a 55 lakhs is there, and then maybe over the officer and over the company also up to 5 lakhs means if it is a company, it may reach to 10 lakhs. So in that case, what has happened? And maybe in my presentation, certainly when I was going to speak, I'll draw certain legal points which you can present in your case when you are going to be a maker of this particular compounding pleadings before adjudication pleadings before the RD or ROC. You may take these kind of clues and then help it. So right now I'm stopping here. I'll take further clue and from the further discussion, and whenever it is needed, I will pitch in and I will try to do some justice for that. Thank you very much to all.
Morning, everyone. In fact, Tirupal has talked about the what's called as the legalities. I will talk about the role of the company secretary, which is very close to my heart. In fact, coincidentally, it so happened that yesterday I was speaking in another forum about the company secretary role as well as how the transformation has taken place. It's completely a 360-degree transformation. We all know that in 1887, Lord Ishar MR, in Burnett Horse and Company case, he has said that secretary is a mere servant. He is supposed to do what he has been asked to do, nothing less, nothing more. Virtually, if you read that judgment, it's like company secretary is a Ramu Kaka. Subsequent to that, in 1971, Lord Denning in Panorama's case has said that no, company secretary is not a clerk. He is an officer with a lot of legal responsibilities and accountabilities. Subsequent to that, in the 1974 Amendment of Companies Act 1956, for the first time, company secretary has been recognized as a principal officer and his appointment has been made mandated for certain class of companies under Section 383A. 2013, company secretary has been recognized as a key managerial person and secretarial audit has been made mandatory. 2015, under listing regulations, the company secretary has been considered as a senior managerial person. 2025, his reporting has been made to the board directly. And SEBI clarified that in the organogram, his position is to be one level below the board. It's not only for the purpose of listing regulations, he is reporting to the board. For all purposes, he will be reporting to the CFO. No, it is not so. It is not acceptable. In the organogram, his position should be one level below the board. So if you see this thing, the amount of confidence what the regulator has imposed, the amount of regulatory support what our profession requires, it has been given by the regulator. Why they have given this? If you compare it with any other profession, they have not given this kind of a support to them. Whether it is chartered accountant, cost accountant, lawyers, nobody. Only company secretaries got this kind of recognition. Why it has been given is because the regulator has a lot of expectations as far as our profession is concerned, as the company secretary is concerned. Unfortunately or fortunately, we doesn't know our own importance in a corporate world. If you see the secretary to the government of India is a very, very important position. Same is the case with the corporate also. Secretary is the person. But unfortunately, because of our own what's called a deficiencies or inefficiencies, whatever we may call it as, we have undermined our position. And because of that, others have taken the advantage of that. Fortunate, because why I'm saying this thing is, prior to Companies Act 2013, whenever I used to interview, when I was in Reliance, I used to interview the company secretaries. Most of the time, they used to say, sir, I am the company secretary, but I don't do the routine regulatory compliances and all. I used to ask them, what do you mean by routine regulatory compliances? Sir, filing of forms, holding board meetings, preparation of agenda minutes, I don't do that. Then I used to ask them, what you do then? He do anything and everything other than his own core area. In that way, what happened was they have lost their core competency. In fact, this is what I tell several of our own fraternity colleagues that it is high time now. Even, of course, Companies Act 2013, after that, company secretaries also got a pride in saying that, look, I am a secretary, I do the compliances, because now the compliances are very, very important. Regulatory complexities are growing up day by day. Regulatory activism is going up day by day. Bala is going to say that by even ROCs are minor non-compliances. They are penalizing quite heavily. Subsequently, when you approach the RD, he might be reducing it, but still you have to pay a hefty money. For what sort of inefficiency? Non-compliance of secretarial standard 2. You are giving gifts, which is prohibited. Paginization is not there. Filing of forms are not there. Some trivial offenses where you don't need any kind of interpretation. If you see these judgments and all, especially even earlier, private companies, company secretaries used to relax. But if you see the critical sections of Companies Act 2013 are equally applicable. Section 135, corporate social responsibility applicable to private companies. Section 90, significant beneficial ownership applicable. 89, applicable. 188, applicable. 186, applicable. So like this, there are several critical sections. So I used to say the company secretaries in the good olden days, if they are handling private companies, they used to treat themselves as second-class citizens. Now, no more it is required, because even if you are handling a private company, it is a very critical thing. So, in fact, I still remember Mr. Deepak Parikh's this thing in one of our own forums, I think somewhere in 2018-19, he said that company secretaries have to develop the ability to speak up in the boardrooms. They don't speak in the boardroom. Now, when you are reporting to the board, you should be able to develop the ability to speak in the boardroom. Speaking is not what we are speaking. Speaking among the senior people who are there, you have to be crisp, you have to be sharp, you have to be the point and able to express yourself, present yourself. Deepak Parekh also said in that meeting, doing what the management wants you to do is the worst culture. And company secretaries have to overcome that. Deepak Parekh was there for almost 40, 50 years in the corporate. He must be knowing our profession on the back of his palm. So sometimes we have to look back into these kind of things also. And company secretaries always used to say that, of course, the managements also view that company secretary is a mere compliance this thing. Company secretary is not, his profession doesn't start with compliance or end with compliance. But merely saying is not sufficient. You should be able to establish that. How we do that? Several times new core areas comes into existence. You should be able to grab that opportunity. Say, for example, BRSR is there. How many company secretaries take the ownership for BRSR reporting preparation and all? Why not to show to the company management that BRSR is a very important thing? I'm going to lead that. I will take the leadership for that. Same is the case with CSR. These are all big ticket items. But unfortunately, what happens is, because for his own reasons, company secretaries get this either outsourced or they will lose the opportunity and somebody else will take that. There may be a person under the ESG head. As I said this in our ESG webinar several times, that even if you outsource, at the end of the day, you have to take ownership for that. Outsourcing is nothing but taking an assistance of somebody to do a particular thing. Your time is more valuable. That's why you are outsourcing it to somebody else. That doesn't mean you will just take a hands-off situation. No. Peter Drucker said that you can delegate the responsibility, but you cannot abdicate the responsibility. So same as the case here also, even if you are outsourcing certain things, at the end of the day, you are supposed to take the responsibility. Under even Regulation 34, if I am not wrong, for BRSR reporting, it is the company secretary who is the compliance officer is responsible. Tomorrow, if then the BRSR reporting anything goes wrong, you cannot say that, look, so-and-so PCS has prepared this. You cannot say that. Now. So company secretaries has to say that, in fact, there is no alternate for knowledge. There is no alternate for experience. There is no alternate for maturity. I always say that company secretary is the charioteer. The way Lord Krishna has shown the path to Arjun at the Kurukshetra, I always say that company secretary is the charioteer for the board in the boardroom. If you don't show the proper way, obviously what will happen is the boardroom wars will be there and all those things. So I'll give a pause here. I can, because this is such a emotional subject which is very close to my heart. I can go on speaking on this particular subject. And sometimes even some people say, sir, you speak very harshly these days. Because I feel that at this age, like a parent, when he is talking to his child, sometimes we may have to goad them, persuade them, scold them also. Might be I'm doing that. So Bala, I give a pass here and kindly take over and take it forward. And wherever I have to pitch in the way Tripal has said, I will do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, Ms. Bala. Thank you.
Bala sir in mute, I think.
Bye for your comment.
Thanks a lot to both the panelists. You already added a lot of things about this particular topic. Speaking about the speaking on the boardroom, the senior people are there. We need to be, to the point, brief, and again focus. This is very, very clear. As Sudhakar quotes it from Mahabharata, I tend to quote from Ramayana. When Hanuman was returning back after seeing Sita, when Ram was patiently waiting. By the time everybody has come back with a negative answer, there was only one hope of Hanuman who's going to come with a positive news. That was the expectations. After all, Ram was actually an incarnation of the God, but he was in the human form. He is attached to the human, the emotional feelings. What will happen? What is the thing? Will it be a good news, bad news? All the thing was waiting. But Hanuman came. It is said in Ramayana he was very brief in his communication. He uttered the first word, seen, next word, Sita. Third, he said, with own eyes. See the communication. He never said, Namaste, return back, all, nothing. He is eagerly waiting. What is the result? He has given the result to seen. He has not even used the word found. Found means dead body can be found. Very carefully he has used the word seen. Seen means alive. Then next thing, who Sita. Third thing, with own eyes. It is not somebody else's sin I am coming and telling you. This is what it is, brief, to the point, focus. This I think will auto pastor. That is one. Second thing is there, as Sudhakar puts it, in a private companies, etc. Yes, I do agree, family-oriented company, they do the thing. There are a lot of trivial issues, we have seen it. But nowadays, especially after the AI has come, even regulator had taken the help of the AI. Now I am actually pained to see a lot of orders where our core competency is getting compromised, because more and more governance related issues are coming up. In fact, when he says private company, I must admit at this particular stage, I served almost more than about 15 to 18 years in the listed company. I started with those days, designated regional stock exchanges, which are all around the country, like Pune Stock Exchange, Calcutta Stock Exchange, Madras Stock Exchange, then BSC, then NSE came actually. I seen the NSE coming up in my lifetime. So with all the things were there, whenever we used to go to NSE, what happened, your principal stock exchange, have they got the approval? What they say, you please tell me that. That used to be the case. But the problem here is, everything now on AI based, they are looking more scrutiny. Now I am actually pained to see we are lacking in interpretation of the act itself, which we are learning in our first subject when you are starting with our executive program, the Constitution of India and the interpretation of law. Even today, now I am pained to see the orders like appointing the ID for the third time, appointment has taken place. How can it be? Law is very, very clear. Even in this forum also, many of you would remember, a number of times we have talked about it. So this was the issue. Ensuring the attendance of the auditors, again the problem is there. Okay, some sort of the convertible bonds has been issued, then that is not even conversion has taken place in the appropriate time. These are all the things which I see. I really pain where our profession is actually going. Anyway, but nowadays we need to be more careful. We need to take all the precaution. We'll have to work with the checklist. All the things are actually called for. Another thing is that people who are working the private company or unlisted company, they have the more opportunity to learn than the listed company, I would actually put it. Because I spent almost about 18 years in the listed company. But I never visited any ROC office, any RD office, nothing in my lifetime. I never received any single show cause notice. We have nothing. Every year we used to report. The company is proud to announce that there was no single, there was no show pieces, there was no issues, and we are in total compliance. But at the age of 67, I took up the job in totally a private limited companies, unlisted public companies. There, the amount of non-compliances, amount of the things, the amount of compounding application later on which will become an adjudication order, my God, I can't imagine. 5 years I spent the time. The 5 years, I have learned lot many things I would not have learned I have not learned the 18 years time. That was the opportunity. Now Sudhakar is telling I am a master of writing all these articles, etc. and all those things. There's all these articles and other thing and all. It came to my mind only after 5 years of my completion in the private unlisted public company. After the COVID, I called it a day. Then I thought, at least I should actually share this knowledge to the benefit of the profession so that they can take the precaution, they can actually, work with the necessary thing. That is the whole idea. I started with it, which I continue to do. Anyway, thanks a lot to all your support. Let me actually take you through the presentation. Let me share my screen. I hope screen is visible. Yeah, our topic is analysis of selected adjudication order passed by the ROC vis-vis role of company secretary. I start with the quote. It's a very popular quote. Our father of nation, be the change you wish to see in the world. Sudhakar already given an introduction about the company secretaries, where from our profession has actually come. But today, if you look at it, business is becoming very complex, and the role of company secretaries is increasingly going on and on because the number of amendments, number of notification, number of modification, number of new areas which are all actually coming up. When it's coming to the NCLT, in fact, the NCLT, I thought actually when it was established, it is going to be totally dominated by the company secretaries because we have the opportunity, we have the core competency in the corporate laws. That's what I thought. But on the contrary, today, even today, it is more dominated by the advocates and all the things because again, as Sudhakar puts it, we don't speak. We keep quiet. We become a spectator. That is what it is. We have to keep, the conveyance, pleading, those sort of things we need to improve upon. That is what I actually put it. Because it is not that we are only looking the documentation, certification, doing the job, etc. No, we'll have to go beyond that. That we'll have to categorically understand. Coming to our profession, really speaking, we are actually recognized from the company secretary to the governance profession today. World over, you take it in UK, you take it in Hong Kong, you take it Australia, you take it other countries, they have changed the institute names for the governance profession. Sudhakar is also a member of the UK Institute, which is known to be a chartered secretary administrator those days. Now it is known as the Governance Professional Institute. And earlier they used to award, certification as the chartered secretary. Today they are awarding a certification governance professional. You have an option to use either you're a chartered secretary or the governance professional, whatever way you want it. That option is open today in UK Institute. That is the thing. Of course, people have to have the maker-checker system always, which has been actually told, which we have been practicing it. If you see olden days, we talk about the bureaucratics. I agree with the bureaucratic because in any organization, even any government offices, if something has to be gone through, they will say it is prepared by, it is checked by, it is pre-audited by, it is verified by, it is pre-certified by, it is passed by. Of course, separate stages were there, but these are all, a lot of layers. But today, those many layers need not be there. At least if you have the maker-checker possibility, the person who inadvertently leaves out something is there, other person can actually make it. We need to work with the maker-checker policy. We need to work out the checklist. Not only that, we need to revise the documents. Because normally what happens, so once we do the thing, we think everything is okay. Another thing is today, digitalization helping us. One thing people say is, what you call copy and paste. In a crude term, I will actually put it is not only a copy and paste, I will say Robin. Wherever it is, something is available in some company, similar thing, they have done it, we just pick it up, we put it. Many times we don't even change many things which are required to be changed actually. So these are all the things which are happening. That should not be the case. Thorough revision, thorough reading. Okay, give a pass. You prepare a document today, don't leave it today. Because if you start reading it, you will not be able to find out. Give a pause sometime, then you start reading it, you yourself will detect what are the mistakes are there. And second thing, heavily we also depending on what you call auto check. Auto check will also certify the wrong thing as a right thing. Very classic example, I had auto check. I wanted to actually type, we have been experiencing a labor problem in a particular, some of the typing has been done color problem. In the auto check, it is not noticed. We have been experiencing color problem instead of labor problem. This is see the meaning how it is changed. One another thing is there, it will be a laughing thing. I said, we are experiencing a side wire fitting problem. Type that, side wire fitting problem. People started talking, how many side wire you have? What sort of the fitting you are doing? So these sort of the things which are actually happening. So we should be very careful, even in the auto checking is there. That is one thing. Okay, we have the people, we assign the job to the junior. Okay, no problem. But we cannot take it for granted junior done the job. You know to again re-verify whether it is done or something like that. I have come across. We assign the job to the junior, they number it. The wrong numbering is taken place. Even the same number is repeated sometime. These are all the things. It's all trivial mistake. But as Sudhakar puts it, when it comes to the notice of the regulator, they are looking at very severely. Penalties are there. In one of the company, numbering has been given. He has actually numbered by pencil. The concerned person also said it's okay, it's numbered. But ultimately, when the notice was issued and other thing and all, he started arguing it. And he said, numbering is there, is nowhere it is written, it is the pen. It should not be numbered by pencil, where it is written and other thing is argued. He said very clearly, pencil can be altered. Indeligible pen, that is what it is. So you go by what is required. Don't talk about all those things. The company has been severely penalized. These sort of the things we have to be very careful when it comes application of the mind, interpreting all the things which are actually made. But very clearly, one thing is that we cannot pay less attention even for the minute details, whichever is actually called for, whether it is a private company, public company, listed company, or whatever the company, that is what we have to actually take care. Ultimately, we have to also remember, we are named as a principal officer, we are the compliance under the vis-vis regulations, and in all our communication, etc., if you see the section, everything will be addressed to the company secretary only. So we are being a pivotal position in the organization. We are catering around 360 degree. Everybody looks upon you. Shareholder, they are looking upon you. Regulator, they are looking upon you. Any inquiry investor, they are looking upon you. We are servicing all the 360 degree across the company. We have to be taking utmost care, and we have to ensure almost absolute compliance. That is what it is actually called for. Now let us look into how the regulators are looking today. Who are regulator, how they are actually looking up. Earlier also I spoke actually on this. This is the order of the RD in a southern region. The same thing Sudhakar touched upon is the gift distribution. This is a Madras fertilizer company, which is one of the public company, even the government company. It's taken place, gift distribution taken place one of the area. Ultimately, the ROC has gone against the director and the company. They have actually penalized only the directors on the company. Somehow that the company felt, what is this? Instead of, we are providing the refreshment, the tea, coffee, in lieu of that, we have done what is the thing, etc., why penalty, etc. They made an appeal to the RD. They said, no, it is like that. When matter went to the RD, what RD has done? RD totally settles the order against the company and the directors. Very categorically. Give instruction. Company secretary is only responsible as a compliance officer. This is according to the secretary standard 2, he has to ensure the compliances. That's all. Responsibility rests with only the compliance secretary and company secretary alone. That is the order is there. It is a very speaking order what he has said actually. So that means he also said, yeah.
Bala, 1 minute. I want to add something here. Just go back to the previous slide, please. See, in this case, the RD's order, in fact, according to me, when I read this particular, I was so happy, given the significance to the importance of this position. If we are wise enough, we should be able to showcase this particular order to the managements, to the clients. A regional director said, this is my responsibility. So that is the reason actually, whatever I say, you people have to listen to me. Position of the company secretary, if you want to make it, sometimes what happens is we have to take the help of these kind of things. So you have to say that, okay, by suppose, see, company secretary position, even till date also, sometimes promoter might not be knowing it. He will understand about, suppose, say, for example, AI, whatever he is being told, only that's why he is learning. About the position of the company secretary also, we should be able to position ourselves in such a manner for the future generations also, they understand what is the company secretary. Unfortunately or fortunately, for the last 40 years or so, which I know about this profession, the positioning was not properly there, which is post 2013 it had happened. Just like, coincidentally, it so happened around that time, BJP also came to the government. So people say that, by you mean to say that only everything happened after 2013 only. I said, look, Companies Act came 2013. Might be BJP government is only a coincidence, that's nothing to do with this thing. So what I'm trying to say is, whenever these kind of case laws come, second thing is, in fact, I have seen one this thing in the chat box, and of course we will answer that question. He says that in small companies they don't, give importance to the position. Several times the PCS also practicing company secretary says, "Sir, client सुनता नहीं हमारा, क्या करें बताओ?" I will give an advice to all of you. Whenever this case laws comes, please compile during that 1 month, whatever the case laws have come, by way of a newsletter or by way of whatever you want to do it, please circulate it to your clients. Very crisp and say to the point. Then what will happen is he knows that, okay, this is what is happening in the market. Verbally, if you say he won't listen to you, he may not be having time, hundreds of things might be going in his mind. What you do is simply show a 1-page, 2-page newsletter kind of thing. stating that these are the adjudication orders of this month. He may not read the first month, he may not read the second month, he will read the third month. Then there will be a chill in his spine. Oh, ye bhi hota hai kya? And then you hammer it down. This is what exactly I have done in Reliance when I was there, when this adjudication order started happening. Then we started circulating it across our department, across the finance department and others also who are concerned with. Only for this reason that you have to sensitize the people at the right time in a right way, appropriate manner. That's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to pitch in here. The RD, why the RD took this stand? I would like to show the law, relevant law for that. It is not that RD went, his own fashion, but there is a relevant portion of the law I would like to show. I will try to share I want to share one. Madam, can you allow me?
Bala, yeah. Bala, stop
Yeah.
sharing, then I think Tirupal wants to share something.
No, it says host disabled.
Now they will not enable you. I have stopped sharing.
Dipti madam.
Saddam, can you do it?
Somebody has to enable from there, I think.
Dipti, are you there?
Jigar Shah
Okay,
is
doesn't
there.
matter, Tirupal, that they might not be there. Today, actually, the person who has assisted us, she is not there. So you may just say that which is the section.
Yeah, see, Bala sir, can you open the Companies Act 205?
Which section you are talking about, Tirupal?
205, sir. 205.
So just mention about that, no? Because I don't know whether Bala is
Yeah.
able to. Because 205, that everybody might be knowing that, and it's not a very small section. Just read out that thing and whatever the portion is there.
205, if you see the first time in the history of the Companies Act, they have identified the functions of the Company Secretary. The 205 reads like this: the functions of Company Secretary shall include. I'm not reading A now, I'm reading the B.
Yeah.
In 1B, to ensure the company complies with the applicable secretarial standard. The word to ensure the company complies with applicable accounting standard. Here, the role of the company secretary in-house, his duty to a standard. The gifting, what was done in the Madras Fertilizer Limited Company, they violated the SS2, which was a duty of the company secretary to ensure the compliance. So 205 subsection 1B cast the responsibility of the compliance of SS by the company secretary in-house. That is the reason they left the other, like including company and other officers in default, from penalizing it. That's much I want to say. Sir, you can go ahead now. Thank you.
So what has happened here in this case is a very speaking order. People can like to go through this order. He actually spelled out. He says it's the duty of the company secretary to take utmost care that company comply with the secretarial standard. The same point what Tirupal has actually said, that is one thing.
Bala, there is one question in the chat box, just link to this only, that when we say receiving or giving is not allowed in law, so if the petty gifts coming from the directors or the website agencies, small gifts like chocolates to something or something not costing more than 1,000 rupees, are also to the CS office is not allowed. Answer is that yes, it is not allowed. It is not the question of the cost. Even a 1 rupee also, if it is a gift, if it is falling, the only thing what you can do is at the time of AGM, you can offer some kind of a tea or cold drinks or water, something, or maybe a biscuit. That's it. Anything you are giving it, whether it is a 1 rupee item or a 1,000 rupee item or more than that, if it is as a gift, it is not supposed to be allowed. So this is how you have to understand that SS2, what it is there. In fact, it has helped many corporates. Otherwise, a gift was a menace. In fact, the shareholder used to exploit the company secretary several times. I suffered in my formative years about this only. That is the only reason actually when this SS2 was being formulated, that point of time, this particular aspect we have taken care of. Yes,
not only that, in the past, they will announce the gift distribution in between, and the AGM starts. All the shareholders will run to collect the gift. In the meantime, all the resolutions passed to the people who are present. That used to be also the cases with. Anyway, here he very clearly said it is company secretary and company secretary alone. That is the wording he has actually used. Not only that, he also says further, once the company secretary is appointed, the managing director whole time expected to assume company secretary would take care of all the compliance, and they will concentrate only on the business. This is what it is there. As Sudhakar puts it, in 2013 Act, the whole scenario has changed because we are a key managerial person, we applies utmost importance. So we need to ensure this is the importance of this particular order, how they are actually looking after. That is one. Coming to the PCS is concerned, again, PCS certification based on taking a comfort letter, etc., that's are all not going to be hold good at all, actually. This is another classic case which has actually happened. It is a Sun Pharmaceutical case. Where it has happened was the secretarial auditor was penalized heavily, around 1.5 lakh rupees or something, because the related party transactions details were not reflected in the secretarial audit report. If you go through the whole order, what he said is a related party transaction. I have taken the help of the statutory auditor. There is no mention about it. I thought everything is okay. I relied upon that. That sort of the stand he has taken. But here, if you see this particular order, it says no. The secretarial auditor expected to ensure and supporting evidence maintained by him. That is what it is saying. That second thing is this particular order is actually citing totally the guidance note issued by the ICSI Institute on Related Party Transactions. They have verbatim produced. That is what I am surprised to see in this particular order. Verbatim, they have produced, these are the following kind of transaction which is actually listed down. It is from the secretarial standard, guidance notes actually. And then he also says what are the various areas he has to look into. Those also has been listed here. Finally, the order says very clearly that you have actually failed to ensure on your own. You have to take the independent judgment on your own after applying your mind. You can take the reliance. There is no problem. But this is what he has actually said. This is exactly as actually happened here. Similarly, there was other cases were there in SR case also related party transactions. There also the same thing has happened because it is a section 186, 188 related things were not reported. So these all the things have happened actually. So that the regulator also now looking upon employee company secretary as well as the PCS, very person of the compliance personnel, they expect the adherence of the compliance is actually called for. Then the question arises, what can go wrong? Instead of what could go wrong, I have actually tell what has actually gone wrong with whatever the adjudication order is actually coming up. What is happening as Sudhakar puts it, very trivial things, agenda, inadequate documents, disclosure not taken on record. MPP 1, director gives, it is not going in the record. Forget about failure to give the thing, that is also there. But even after giving the thing, it is not taken on. Noting it is not done. Date and places in the minutes, it is actually missing. Unnumbered meetings are there, which is a very trivial issue. And nothing, blank pages is not sorted out. Initial, last page is not fully signed, it is only initial, no full signature is not found. And the minutes itself is not signed many places. That is also there. And draft minutes not circulated, which is one of the requirement here. And even the KYC is not done in many cases, failing which they are not able to file the forms unless it is done, which result in the severe thing. Attendance register is not in place, many places. All the things are same in the private companies mostly. When it's come to the public company, there are a couple of things. Private company get converted in the public company. Even the public company one day it becomes the threshold limit, etc. and other thing and all. What happened? The non-constitution of various committees, audit committee, nomination committee, CSR committee, all the things which are actually happening, that is another thing. And beside that, not only that, even wherever the appointment is required to take place, internal auditor, secretarial auditor, independent directors, all the things are also actually missed out. These are all the things which are actually happening.
So if you
So
say,
that will-
if you say in this case, Bala, that it is nothing but the negligence
Correct.
of the company secretary concerned. Here, that management doesn't listen to me or my CFO doesn't listen to me, those excuses will not be there.
Correct.
Which management will ask you by that, don't take care of all these things? Which CFO will tell you, don't take care of all these things? This is nothing but the negligence of the concerned company secretary or the practicing company secretary.
You
It's
said no in
visible
the beginning.
clearly. Yeah.
In the beginning, you said no, I don't do the routine job.
Correct.
It is something like that. So this is what it is happening. And when it comes to the violation, CSR violations. What are the CSR violation? CSR violation, you carry forward, you forget to open the separate account. Even you open the separate account, you spend the amount in the not on the ongoing project, but on the current project. All the things which are actually taking place. And not only that, you promptly transfer the funds. But the thing is, you are not transferring the fund to the designated account, you are transferring the fund somewhere else. You think that is serves the purpose. All the things are all taking place. Related party transaction, my God, n number of related party transaction, which I will not talk about it because many things which are there, people don't understand. People try to, what you call, how to violate the law. That is what it is happening. In one of the very recent case, which was decided in the December 2015, not by ROC, but by the SEBI and SAT. SEBI passed the order somewhere in the year 24, I think it is a Linde India case. One has to go through, that is about 25 pages order, which very clearly talk about materiality of the RPT transactions. That is one thing. So these are all the things which are actually happening. Then again, we are also saying statutory register is not maintained, beneficial interest ownership is not filed, various forms are not getting it filed. All the things which are actually happening here. Even the auditor's qualifications is not being addressed. Material subsidy information is not actually given. Sometimes the incorrect details of the director responsibility statement is seen many a times. Even people don't even mention that, company has complied with the applicable secretary standard, which is the mandatory requirement. So these sort of the things are increasingly seen actually.
In fact,
Again, coming to-
yesterday forum, Bala, that the CFO is, there are two CFOs were there who were mentioning, sir, how to determine the role of a company secretary and a CFO in an organization. I said, yeah, what is there? What is the problem in that? Exactly what is the question? He says that my company secretary says I have nothing to do with the accounts. Financial statements is the responsibility of CFO. I have nothing to do with that. Once this thing is finalized, then I will take the complaints as filing with the ROC and all. I said, if your company secretary is having with that mindset, means he is only a postman. What am I saying? See, how can a company secretary say that I have nothing to do with the financials? According to me, in Reliance also, we used to do the same thing. Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, all the liabilities side, share capital, reserves and surplus, unsecured loans, secured loans, it is your responsibility as a company secretary. Because the amount of information, what is to be furnished, it is stated in the law, what you have to give there exactly. On the asset side, fixed assets, current assets, and other miscellaneous expenditure and all those things, you don't need to worry. That the CFO will take care of. So according to me, liabilities is company secretary's responsibility and assets are the responsibility of the CFO. Put it simply. Okay. And similarly, suppose, say, for example, 186, you have to give some information in the notes to accounts. Don't you think that is the responsibility of the company secretary? Suppose tomorrow CFO is not giving it, who will be held responsible for that? Can you say, but it is not my responsibility? So this is what exactly the company secretaries have to say, that they have to say, you have to exercise your authority. You have to say that to the CFO, boss, balance sheet is not your domain, it is my domain also. Unless until I give my concurrence to you, you should not be able to take it to the board. Suppose if the CFO is not consulting you while finalizing the financial statements, you tell in the boardroom that, look, I haven't seen these financials, so I'm not giving any of my comments. Just mention that. Board will definitely give importance to you. Board will definitely listen to you. Why they will question the CFO, why the company secretary has not been taken into confidence while finalizing the financials. I'm sure that many CFOs, one or two CFOs might be doing like that, or one of two company secretaries might be doing that. But please remember that what I want to drive the point here to the participants is, it is equally the responsibility of the company secretary as far as your financials are concerned. Because your board report is linked to your financials only. The entire annual report, you cannot say simply that, of course, when you are signing a balance sheet, your responsibility might not be there. You're not authenticating the balance sheet as such. But signature is entirely different to what I'm saying it. Signature is something separate. I'm talking about the compliance part.
Sir, even in the PCS side also, nowadays, we had, very good journey in the new Companies Act. When schedule changes, now they add a lot of disclosure at the schedule, and then chartered accountant disclosure in his report. Now, many chartered accountants, before they finalize any small company balance sheet, they will share with us first.
Very good.
They will share with us, they will ask us, please ensure that whether it is as per the Schedule 3 format, and those all 30-40 disclosures are there or not. And I'm sharing even my share certificate report. Please get into whether that properly is been, commented each and every entry it is there. Like one example, you see the balance sheet. If the like example, charges were supposed to be filed within 120 days as per section 77. Suppose charges were not filed. Now there is a mandated disclosure at the financials as one of the notes saying that clearly the charges were created but not informed to the ROC. It may be creation, modification, even it is a satisfaction. We need to report it. And the CA also make the comment on it. And as you rightly pointed out, balance sheet side is about the CFO's role and liability side is the company secretary. But I go one more step ahead. Even on the asset side, if the assets are encumbrance,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
definitely.
those encumbrance is not reported to the ROC, then you should look into that aspect and in the report in the same balance sheet side. So you can't separate the role of a company secretary and the CFO because our perspective is a compliance, his perspective is about the numbers. You should be looking at the numbers, but where numbers are placed as per the compliance, that is our perspective. We should keep it that angle. Like we had one case of that security premium account. Someone adjusted security premium account for the creation of something else which is not allowed. We need to look into the section which is allowed. That general entry can be passed only as per that section, not beyond that. So it is you how much you have knowledge about the subject while reading your balance sheet, your company balance sheet. Certainly, if you have got thorough knowledge, you can do a lot of value addition to your balance sheet. Yes, sir.
In fact, Tirupal, that in our webinar, a lot of chartered accountants are also attending this webinar. So I must say to every one of you that whether you are in practice or in service, when I'm saying about company secretary, it is applicable to both of them.
Correct.
Because see, PCS role is that when the CS is not there on the roles of a company, they are engaging the PCS, so he has to play the same role, more or less. Same is the case with chartered accountants also. As you rightly said that, in fact, small company chartered accountants also, while finalizing the financials, they are, consulting the PCS to have a look at the balance sheet. This is a healthy atmosphere. That is very much required. Why? Because the chartered accountants are supposed to comment in the Caro report about the compliances of several sections of the Companies Act. So it should not happen that secretarial auditor is commenting something and the statutory auditor is commenting something else. So it is better that both of them have to share their reports to each other and come to the consensus before finalizing the things. Otherwise, both of them will be in a mess completely.
In fact, in one of my client case where we work for listed company, unless a draft secretarial audit report is there, the auditor will not sign his CA report. He doesn't sign. He says that no, let me go through because in my entire audit report, if you look at the language of the audit report, the word used is the compliance, 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 compliance. Entire audit report. See, I can't say if someone says like a domain, which is a domain expert says it is not complied, like section 188, 189 related party transaction. I don't want to comment as a complaint. Please get that one is from the person who is a domain knowledge of the compliance. Let him say in his report is compliant, then I will also follow it. So it is really healthy environment.
In fact, there is a very tricky issue. Okay, that recently one of my friend he's facing that he is a practicing chartered accountant. He asked the company secretary to give the secretarial audit report duly signed. Secretarial auditor says that you give me your financial statutory auditor report, then I will give mine. So how to resolve that issue? I said that, yeah, okay, if that is the case, by initial it, exchange it, and then subsequently sign it. What is the problem?
Drop you can
Don't take
exchange
it
and sign
as
it.
a nego issue.
Please go ahead, Bala sir.
Some or other, my feeling is company secretaries are actually shying away from the finance. That is the whole idea. As Sudhakar puts it, it is none of my area. But the thing is, law says we are required to comply with all the applicable provisions of the Companies Act. And again, accounts is a part of the Companies Act itself. So you have been caused that responsibility. Okay, we may not be, responsible for the entries which are actually there, figure entries, what is debit and credit in terms of the numbers, which is taken care of the CFO. But when it comes to the compliance, when it comes to the disclosure, all those things, we are equally responsible. Anyway, dividend not transfer in 5 days. 5 days means people, it is never written into the 5 working days. People think, Saturday, Sunday means that is excluded and they do it. Those sort of the things are also actually seen. Then again, beneficial interest is not filed. All those things are all there, which you have seen actually in the past. Okay, coming to all the things, what is actually happening, then what is the solution? Next question is there. It is not only the problem, we need to have the solution also. Solution is, it is always better to have prevention rather than cure. If the prevention has not yet taken place, if the things have occurred, how to sort out, that will be the next issue. So there are areas which are open to sorting out the issue. The number one is condonation of delay wherever it is possible. It may not be possible every cases. Wherever it is possible, it is there. For example, the AGM is to be conducted on or before 30th of September every year. If the date is gone, you cannot conduct the AGM, you cannot do anything. So you have to cannot rectify only for all this matter, the date is already gone. But where is the form filing? If it is not filed, yes, you can still get it filed later. For that, you can go for the condonation of delay. You can say, okay, whatever the merit-based reason, etc., and other thing and all, that is one way of sorting out the matter. Second thing is their adjudication. You make an application, admit this is what the mistake has actually happened, whatever is there, I would like to get adjudicate the matter. So that is another way of there. Compounding. Now the compounding, I will come to that. Compounding is actually not largely today it is there, because earlier there were a lot of criminalization was there, especially company law is now eased out. They have done the decriminalization of the lot of criminalized things. Very few are actually left out. So those cases we have to go for the compounding application wherever it is called for. Today it is mostly on adjudication rather than the compounding which is happening. The compounding is very rare, which is actually happening. Condonation of delay, it is nothing. Ultimately, you have to go only to the central government in getting the condonation. There is a particular procedure which is actually laid down. Suppose you have not filed the form, delays taken place, etc., and other things, and all those things. In those cases, you can actually apply. So that you know what happened. There are one thing is there. Earlier, we had a privilege. If the form is not filed within 30 days, we were allowed to file 270 days, which was there. I think probably now they are removed. So it's only a limited time which is available. Beyond that limited time, we cannot actually file the forms. So if that is the case, okay, it happens due to some unavoidable circumstances, etc., and other thing and all, we can actually justify, we can record the reason, we can write to the government, we can file the application, we can do that. So for that, the procedure is a very laid down procedure. There is a board meeting is to be called for, approval of the condonation of delay application is to be filed, authority is to be given. Generally, authority is given the director in the smaller companies, or the companies where the company secretary is there, he is the person. Otherwise, if the company secretary is there, anybody else, he can be authorized, or even practicing company secretary can also be authorized, depending upon whatever the company that can be done. Then you go with the filing of the applications. Then the board certified copy will be required, because that is the starting point. Then authorization which is given, that is actually required. Then the reason you put it. Then again give the necessary affidavit, indemnification, attach the necessary document like a memorandum of the article of the association, etc. and briefly explain. Government will actually scrutinize. If they are satisfied, yes, condonation is granted, you can file, you can actually get away with that. I have not come across many cases where the government is actually totally.
Let me share. We have got a few cases under this condonation of delay. Now, of course, we are not going. Earlier, if you look at the MGT 14, Balasar said that 300 days, there was the old section 403 was giving power up to, with additional fees up to 300. So wherever the either board resolution or special resolution, I think it was till 2018, I believe, the 300 days was continued to be there. And if you want to file any delay beyond 300 days in the form MGT 14, system was not allowing us unless you mention the SR number of the condonation delay order by the central government. That is INC 28 order number. So it was not allowed. So prior to the 2018, we have approached many cases for the delay in filing either board resolution as per section 179(3) for the public limited company case, or any special resolution if it is delay is more than 300 days. It is headquarters only. It is not delegated. This function of the delay condonation is not delegated to any of the authority. Only headquarters sitting at secretary below, they were doing it. But now, more or less, they removed the word 300 days from the 403 and also removed the 300 days that is there in the form MGT 14. That radio button also they are removed in the new process. And now system is accepting beyond 300 days of resolutions. So we are not even from 2018, we are not paying a single form for the continuation of delay. Similarly, that charge related documents, if you look at the charge related document in advent of the IBC, the government doesn't want to have the backdated charge to be created and filed with ROC to get the priority over the any other secured creditor. So because of that, government has imposed 120 days to file the charge document. Beyond that, it will not be allowed to be filed. So the charge document case, we cannot use this 460. Even if you use also, government is not ready to condone the delay forms is removed now. So there's no concept of condonation of delay for charge creation and modification. Whereas if it is satisfaction up to 300 days, it will take additional fees. Beyond 300 days, it will ask you to go for a condonation. So condonation of delay is there only the charges after. And this used to be for other general forms. Now it is more or less no one is using this particular process. So it takes a lot of time, 6 months, 9 months it used to take. Now anyhow, we are not using this section now.
So then once after the hearing, etc., take place, that the final order is actually given by the central government. Then you are able to file. That's what he has actually explained here. So this can be done, and then you have to intimate to the ROC after filing the form, etc. You have to file the IMC 28, etc. Matter gets sorted out in this particular case. The next thing is adjudication. Now that decriminalization has taken place, there are adjudication orders is possible. There are two things in this case. One thing is there in the scrutiny, ROC himself will issue the show cause notice because you are not noticed. It is ROC has found out, he issued the show cause notice. You examine. If you see there is a delay, etc., and other thing and all, you go for the adjudication order, it will be passed. Or on the contrary, you yourself will detect it. There is a default has taken place, non-compliance has taken place on your own. They call it suo motu application. You can file a suo motu application of the adjudication. Sorry, this is another mistake which has happened. We admit this, etc. We would like to get adjudication done for this particular matter. That is what it is done actually. Then depending upon whatever the matter is put up for the adjudication, the adjudicating officer may think, because sometimes it is material is so sufficient, there is no need for the adjudication hearing. Nowadays it is all e-hearing which is happening. Earlier it used to have the physical hearing. Nowadays it's all e-hearing has happened. So he is deciding whether it is required the hearing or not. That is one thing. Many times company also request saying that we don't want to hear on this e-hearing where the material is there. Based on that, you can pass an order, whatever it is. So whether it is a company or it is an adjudication order, they can actually decide whether hearing is required or it is not required. Once that happens, then he passes an order. So when he passes an order, then you have to pay the fees and you have to close the chapter. That is number one. Number two, as Tripal has puts it very clearly, adjudication officer will go according to what is written in the adjudication section penalty, what is applicable. He does not have any discrimination to alter that figure which is appearing. If this is what the minimum is required, yes, it is the minimum. He got the option only where it is between this and that. There only he has got the option. Otherwise, there is no option is actually available at the adjudication process. Nobody can expect at the adjudication process, we can actually, substantiate, we can do the validation and the levy can be reduced. That cannot be done at all. There you'll have to once it is done, you have another 60 days time. When the order is passed, within 60 days time, you can actually make an appeal to the RD. Then you can put representation to RD. What the RD hears, etc., based on the merits, definitely he will pass an order, he will raise the order. He can either modify the order, we can set aside the order, or we can reduce wherever the cases is there. All the things which actually can be done. In both the cases, yes, opportunity of the personal hearing will be heard 100% because he has to issue the rational behind coming to the judgment, and he has to give the speaking order. Those things will happen actually. In case company wants, adjournment, okay, we are not ready, we need a sufficient time, etc., and other thing and that, yes, it is possible because the material is not available. That's old cases you want to collect. On those cases, you can actually ask for the adjournment. Yes, adjournment also will be granted based on purely on merit. That can be done. That is another way of closing the issue whenever the things
Yeah.
are there.
So before you proceed further, here I would like to add my personal experience about this adjudication process. See, adjudication, as Balasar told clearly, it should start from the SOCAS. See, if you look at the 454 and then section 441, that is for the compounding. If you look at the 454, there is no concept of suo filing the case. There is no suo filing. You can't file any suo on your own. However, now due to the various adjudication, various due diligence processes, all those things, we are supposed to file as compelled by the legal team, then you will be filing the application. So the major difference between the adjudication and the compounding, in case of adjudication, you don't need to include every officer into that, because the officer default will be decided by the you are doing in terms of filing an application before the ROC is something like a bringing the knowledge of non-compliance or default to the ROC to issue the SOCAS notice. Since it is being an intimation to the ROC, this intimation need not be formally signed by each and every applicant. And like you see, the problem with the applicant signing, there may not be in India, they may be outside. There is adjudicate, what is that, apostolization, legalization, affidavit, all those things will be there, which will take a hell lot of time. So instead, simply what you can do, include the company alone as a defaulter, say this is the default has been done, please initiate the adjudication process against the company. Since the default is already been noticed by the ROC, then you should be obligated to go through the relevant provision and identify the relevant officers who are held responsible, and he will serve notice on all those people. Technically, no application is required to be filed. It is an intimation that you are supposed to give to the ROC to initiate the process of adjudication. So for giving that intimation, you don't need to waste a lot of resources like getting everyone signed here and there, affidavit, all those things, or the notary, apostolization. These things are not required. You just prepare a simple plain vanilla application because there is no format is given. And plain vanilla application, you just make party only as a company and inform to the ROC, file a physical form and also GNL1. Based on the GNL1 and physical form, ROC will just examine the provisions that are there and the compliance, non-compliance that you have committed. Then he will serve the notice to all the defaulters. Then next, what we need to do, once he serves the notice, like SOCAS notice, then you have to respond. For respond again, I think the process is been e-adjudication. The person, suppose you got an adjudication notice, generally you get adjudication notice like income tax. If there is a proceeding, it will come to your login. So here the every director is required to have a login with V3. Similarly, company is required to have a login with V3. There is a separate radio button called adjudication proceedings. If you click over that adjudication proceeding, there you will find the notice of the SOCAS notice or any other thing for that matter, including hearing, e-adjudication hearing link, everything will be provided over there. There maximum you need to plead or you need to provide your pleadings through online only. Again, it is online. So what I'm trying to say, a formal application, don't waste your resources in preparing a formal application, getting it signed by the different officers, or yourself identifying who is the defaulter. All those things, don't do it. Prepare an application, plain vanilla, signed by the company and submit in GNL1. If needed, even required to be submitted physically, you submit and keep quiet. Let the ROC take a call and he will come back with SOCAS notice with identified defaulters. Then you project it yourself. See, I had a case where 205, I told no that in my initial remark. We have filed similar to this same case. We have included only managing director and a company. However, while giving SOCAS notices, ROC has given notice to the past and present employees like a KMPs like CEO, CFO, company secretaries. He included everyone. When he has included everyone, we have projected clearly, boss, we are not held responsible. Like I was trying to show you the section 205. I have shown you 205 subsection 1. B I have shown you, like to ensure the compliance of secretarial standards. Whereas in case of company secretary, if you read the 205 subsection 1A, it says report the non-compliance. So we have stated In this company, there is a 205 non-compliances. From time to time, the company secretary of the company has reported to the board from time to time, we are violating the 205, 205, 205. And we brought this knowledge and it was recorded in the minutes. And the minutes copy was produced before the regional director and ROC. Believe me, ROC has dropped the proceeding against the company secretary because company secretary cannot appoint the managing director. Your duty is to report it. You can't appoint a managing director. In fact, in one of my client case, independent directors were not appointed, but company secretary has reported from time to time, diligently, religiously, in each and every board meeting that there is a non-compliance, it is continued, it is a daily penalty, is this much, this much. Then finally, entire board was held responsible, not the company secretaries. So we should be very clear. Kindly read the section 149 subsection 12 to protect the independent directors. Kindly read the company secretary 205 subsection 1 A and B, and the balas are projected subsection 2. If you look at the subsection 2 of 205, it says clearly, because there is a company secretary, because there is a PCS certificate under 203 for the secretarial audit, the role of the board, role of the MD, role of the Holton director or the chairman cannot be escaped. That is exactly subsection 2 says. If you are able to produce all these facts that what the role of the company secretary was performed perfectly, then certainly you will get away because the penalties are huge. You will get away from the penalties in all 3 or 4 cases. In all the cases, we argued the matter before the ROC and before the RD. They have agreed and dropped the proceeding against the past and present company secretaries. This is what I'm trying. Don't surrender yourself. It is like a suicide note. When you want to go suo application for adjudication, because most of the sections are decriminalized, don't commit any suicide note. You add only company as the defaulter. That's all. That much I can tell you. They will take care whom to penalize.
Tirupal, there is a question in the chat box. Tirupal, there is a sorry. 1 minute. There is a question in the chat box that is e-hearing a matter of discretion of the ROC in the adjudication proceedings? Physical hearings still happen. Can you please brief on
physical
this?
hearing. Sir, from the 15th September 2015, I believe, 2025, they have stopped the physical hearings. No physical hearing. It is only e-hearing, and they are sending the links. And the ROC concern will come, and there is a presenting officer also will be there. The opportunity will be given to you because in the Constitution we have a right to be heard. Okay, without right to be heard, they will not decide your case. So no physical hearings. Only the challenge what I found that e-adjudication proceedings are not extended to the RD appeals till date. So in RD appeal, they are insisting the physical hearing, but still there also, if you ask for the e-hearing, they are ready to provide the hearing. You should ask it. But they are going to ensure that the adjudication process end to end, it's going to be pipeline that e-hearing, but it may take some time because RD is not fully in the online till date. So that is the reason RD portion, that is appeal portion, it is still offline. As per as the ROC portion is completely online. That's what we experienced for last 6-7 months. I think it is September 2024 was the 15th September, that is e-adjudication date. It is more than 1.5 years, everything e-adjudication with respect to the ROC. Please go ahead, sir. Thank you.
And not only that, one more thing is very clearly, I've seen many ROCs, not only after filing the GNL application also, they insist a physical copy is to be lodged in their office. That is what it is practically seen in many
what I understood,
places.
sir, I'll tell you. It depends upon the proceedings, sections, applicants, so and so involved. The size of the document would be more than 2 MB. When you file GNL 1, it will not accommodate more than 2 MB or so and so, maximum 10 MB for each attachment, 2 MB, it won't go. So considering that, we will not be able to file entire application which you have prepared in the form of a electronic mode. Considering that, they are insisting us to submit a physical full set so that they will generate a physical file and hearing will be effective. That is the one convenience we are providing. They are also agreeing for that.
That is one. And second thing is, when it's come to the penalty, please remember, penalty when it is levied on an individual, that means other than the company, a director or KMP, other people, etc., it has to be paid from their own source of income out of their own pocket. If you go through any of the adjudication order, the very first line immediately after giving the penalty detail, it is very clearly written, the notices are directed to make their payment out of their own source of income, out of their own pocket. That is what it is written. Many a time it is verifiable. If people think, we can get the money reimbursed, it can be done, it is a company and all those things, that's a misnomer. But this is one thing you'll have to bear in mind, actually. This is there.
Yeah, sir, that's correct. See, the order speaks clearly that it should be paid from the respective individual from his own packet. See, the issue we need to see, there are DNO policies are there. If you look at if something is covered under DNO policies and it is not a negligence of that particular officer, even you look at the section 197, there is a DNO policy that is covering not only directors, KMP also is covered over there. It says if the gentleman is able to prove it is not his negligence, it is not his misfeasance, is not able to this thing. Certainly, government, that company can cover and reimburse those penalties levied by the that's RD or ROC on a particular individual can be reimbursed by following that. If it is not reimbursed, or if reimbursed in the case of negligence and misfeasance, the section clearly identifies it is as a salary, then you will be paying the TDS, all those stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
That is right.
So here you have to see the case to case, whether the negligence was there in a particular person, whether misfeasance is there on the particular person. So these things should be examined in the facts, but by and large, it should be paid from the personal source.
Not only that, in DNO policies, commonly used words are all the expenses will be reimbursed except the fine and penalty which are levied upon the individual. That is the way it is actually there. So although it's saying that we are having a DNO insurance that will take care of it, that may not be the case in cases. Yes, you are actually right. Case to case basis, you have to examine, you have to take a call. That is, I agree with you.
Well, I have to gallop now because it is 12:15 and you have
Yeah.
halfway only, and there are a lot of questions also there.
Yeah. Compounding of offences, I think we already discussed enough. I don't have to say anything. It is only in cases of the offences which are actually with imprisonment or punishable fine. Those cases it is actually done. So it can be done with this delegation is given to the regional director, although wording used is the central government. So we can file an application. But only thing is there's a monetary limit is there up to 25 lakhs. You can actually file with the regional director, beyond which nowadays you have to go to the tribunal. Again, there are offences.
I would like to clarify the practicality about this 25 lakhs calculation. See, most of the officers, even including ROs across, they have a misconception or misnotion or misconcept in identifying this 25 lakhs. Technically, the 25 lakhs is the per person per offense and per year. Suppose there is a delay in conducting AGM for the 3 years. Okay. And you are a company secretary in that year. The year 1, there is a one penalty, one fine is there. Year 2, there is a one fine. Year 3, there is a one fine for you. There is a director again, for him also year 1, year 2, year 3. By any chance, we should not mix all the three years and say it is 25 lakhs, which is a misnomer. The each box, which I told you, like company secretary, you have a box 1, year 1 is a so and so, then year 1, year 2, year 3, then director, year 1, year 2. So each box should exceed more than 25 lakhs. Then only the application should go to the NCLT, not to the RD. Whereas they are just clubbing together. Why we are adding the one or more applicant together? Tell me. It is a convenience sake. Instead of preparing again and again the application, we are adding 4-5 people into one single application. And you can't go for a compounding if it is more than 1 year. You should add 3-4 past and then go as a one go. Because I am going one go, I should not be diverted to the different tribunal. That is not correct. So as my understanding, if you are able to explain clearly this point, because the ROC is processing your application, if you are able to explain properly to the ROC, you will forward the application for each box not exceeding 25 lakhs. The application goes to the RD, where your penalties and all, the fine and all will be levied, quick disposal may happen. But if it goes to NCLT, because of the workload they have, it takes years together also. In fact, my case, it is there for last 2 years, it is there. So if you should go and then explain the officer, it is a differently. In fact, Bombay ROC has given one SOP for the compounding of offences. There they have stated clearly, it is a per offence, per individual, per year. 25 lakhs should be there. Then only the application should be forwarded to the NCLT.
And again, the law lists down what are the offences that cannot be countable. If it is only in imprisonment, it cannot be countable. When the investigation is happening against the company, it is pending, then it cannot be done actually. Then again, if an offence is committed for the same offence, then 3 years it cannot be compounded. When we say the offence, it will be in the individual sections. So that is one thing which has to be borne in mind. And again, here the same procedure, you have to have the board meeting, you have to have the necessary authority, and you have to prepare the compounding application. Again, GNL1 form is to be filed. The documents have been actually listed out. Here the Wakalatnama will be called for because you have to represent. That is one thing. Authority letter, Wakalatnama, whatever it is, certified copy of the board resolutions. And again, evidence showing whatever the offences were made good. That is one condition is there on that. So then again, the show cause notice, etc. is to be attached. All those things you have to attach, you have to file. So once it is done, it goes to the concerned person. People, they can represent either director, manager, CS or company secretary. And of course, they will ask for the various thing in case of the director, DIN, manager, secretary, PAN, or in case of the expatriate, it is the passport details, etc. and all those things which will be actually called for. And hearing will also take place because hearing is normally required in cases because opportunity to be heard, that will be actually done. And of course, the comments upon the ROC will be called for, or RD will be called for. If it is go to the NCLT, then matter will be disposed. That's what's happening. Now let us look at quickly the adjudication orders which have been passed in the recent. I am not going to take today the very trivial cases because trivial cases, as I already said, there are a lot of trivial cases in the case of the private limited company which has been happening. I am more or less wanted to bring especially the severe nature of a thing where the interpretation, where we are grossly missing, we are not acting diligent enough. Those sort of the cases I would like to bring to your notice. Let us so by the private limited company. Now here what happened, most private limited company, I would actually say the company secretary is not there below the threshold. Above the threshold, of course, the company secretary is there. Rather, I call it it's a family company, rather husband or wife company. That is what it is there. So what happens is here, although we have the practicing company secretary totally take on the assignment basis. They don't educate the people, they don't tell the people. It is required actually the practicing professional take care of these people because basically they are undertaking. I will hold responsible the practicing company secretary if anything goes wrong actually rather than the company. That we need to do is because they have to tell them this is what is required, this is the legal requirement, this is the thing, this is the thing. Whenever you go next time, at least go through and see, verify, try them help because the whole idea is to ensuring the compliance rather than inverting the problem after the things have happened. That is what I would actually put it here for our practicing people. So here you look at it, what is the failure to appoint the resident director. Now as Sudhakar puts it, where is the question, hamara koi sunta nahi hai, resident director appointment. This is what it has happened in this particular company. So what has happened is they have not appointed the resident director for a longer period. Suddenly after it has come to the notice, etc., then they have done. There has been heavy penalties has taken place actually. 3 lakh rupees on a company and a director, 1 lakh each, past director, 1 lakh, all those things. Of course, the company felt it, they agreed, they went to the RD. As Tripal puts it, who's our represented PCS, he had a justifiable reason for this particular company. He has actually spelled out all those things based on the merit. Finally, the penalty was brought down to 10% level. That means from 3 lakh rupees, it has been brought down to 10,000 rupees only. That is what it has happened in this particular case. This is a classic case where we have failure has taken place. Second thing, you look at it, this is the ID appointment, which is actually done beyond the 2 terms. Because probably it appears to be in this case, because not less than 5 years at a term, 5 years at a term, that means 10 years. In this particular case, what has happened, he was appointed initially for the 3 years, subsequently for the 2 years. So they thought it was 7 years over, so another 3 years left over, the third term appointment has been made. Because they never realized, once you say term, whether it is for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, the term is over. That is the thing. So probably that is grossly messed up here. That is what it has happened in this independent director, which has resulted almost about 6 lakh rupees penalty. Here, of course, the company secretary was there, CFO was there, KMP. They also equally penalized, which is what I am paid to note here. This is the thing. Then coming to the thing is auditor's attendance. Again, Tirupal, same thing, SS2.
Yeah,
In this,
section 146 also mandates them to attend. Here
correct, they are mandated to them attend, but the 140 section is a secretary standard 2. The company has to ensure the standard where the attendance is required. That is what the thing they have taken in this particular case. So in this case, all the directors and the company, they have been actually penalized because the auditor's presence was not ensured consequently for the 2 years period. That is what it has happened. Mainly this order talks about SS2 read with section 118 and 149. That's what this order talks about it. Here you see here, FCT not converted on the appointed date. This is another thing. Here, although the company tried to say, no, we have extended the term, we have modified, they tried to do all those justification, but somehow after going through all the documents, etc., and all this thing, ROC was not convinced. ROC somehow said, no, the mistake has taken, you have not acted upon it, and the thing, and I am not buying whatever the argument is there. That is what it has happened. Yes, he has identified a company and the managing director. He has been actually penalized in this particular case. Then going through his resolution. It's a simple filing of the resolutions. It's a share allotment has taken place. And somehow the share allotment filing has not taken place for a period of about 4 years, MGT 14 form. After 4 years, they are actually filing it. Then on the scrutiny, it all comes out, etc. Another thing and all. This is what it has happened in this particular case. Now tell me one thing. Some practicing company secretary would have helped definitely for all these issues, etc. and all this thing. It is not, he could have advised correctly, he would have turned the things, etc. Another thing, 4 years. After the 4 years, regulator finding out, coming back very heavily. That's what it has happened in this particular case. Then again, CSR funds, as I said, in this private company, they have done everything good. Ongoing project, identified, separate account, all those things have been done. But when it comes to the usage, it is not used on the ongoing project, it is used in the current project. That is what has happened. Although money has been spent in the current year, but it is not the ongoing project, that was the fault which they have actually done. And one more thing is there in case of the incomplete disclosure or non-disclosure in the board report. Again, Sudhakar puts it actually, whatever is appearing in the financial, that only reflects in the board report. It has to be counter-tallied, it has to be seen actually here. There are loan has been given by the company to the shareholders. But what has happened is they have not disclosed this. That is one thing. And subsequently in the year, although loan is given, they given the wrong disclosure saying there is no loan has been given to any of the shareholders. That is what it has happened in the subsequent years. When they gone through, in fact, there was a loan which has been given, which was there. So this is what they actually found out. Ultimately, the company and managing director have been heavily penalized in these cases. Let us look at the public companies. They have appointed a non-resident as a managing director. Very clearly, our Part 2 schedule says, if you want, because only the resident people can be appointed as a director. But if you want to appoint the non-resident, you have to seek a government approval. Either you have to stay in India for about a year, so that he is treated as a resident in India for only limited purpose of his appointment, or otherwise you have to take the government approval. In this case, that was actually missing. They have appointed the non-resident as the managing director without taking a approval. So here what has happened is, on the company they have penalized 2 lakh rupees. So the director who is appointed himself, he also should have done the loan. Since he had taken up the thing, they have been penalized 50,000 rupees in this particular case. Then again, inadequate disclosure in the financial statements. So here comes Sudhakar, your point, company secretary, along with the CFO. How can he actually get on? I am no way concerned with the financial, etc. and other thing and all. Here again, inadequate related party transaction disclosure was not made. That was the issue here. So in this particular case, they have identified the company managing director. Beside this, full-time director and the company secretary and CFO, they have been penalized in these particular cases. Here they could have definitely got over it, they could have identified, they could have done it. That is the thing which has not happened. What has happened in this particular case was, there was one company, they have another entity, I think it was a LLP, where they have actually a related party transaction with the company. But somehow or other, in the financial, what they have done is, the amount due from the director who was a partner in an entity, they left it like that. They are not given the detail of the transaction, they are not given the disclosure, etc. and other thing and all. That is what it has happened. This was actually detected. This detection actually came out. They wanted to investigate some other point in relation to some ADT1 which has been filed. They wanted to have the clarification. They given the instruction. While going through the inquiry, they found out this. This is what it has actually resulted in this particular case. Here, another case, Trupal, as you rightly say, there is a maximum amount of the fine is actually prescribed actually.
Yeah.
The maximum amount of fine on the company is only 5 lakh rupees and director also 5 lakh rupees only. But what he has done, because it is a continuing default, he has calculated the continuing days. He has calculated everything. He has taken 9,87,000 to the company, but the maximum limit is only 5 lakh rupees. Similarly, the other cases also, it is run to 5,37 lakh rupees on the director. But again, maximum is only 5 lakh rupees. He levied this, whatever is there. I think the whoever represent the case, they are not brought into the notice to the ROC. It could have been sorted out in the ROC itself, which has not taken place. Ultimately, they have gone to the RD, and the RD, this was actually pleaded. RD brought down to 5 lakh rupees each. So from 29 lakh rupees or something like that, it is brought down to 20 lakh rupees. It is a glaring, error which has actually happened, whosoever has done it. Then again, assets have been acquired by the company, because the company law very categorically says assets has to be held in the company's name only. In this particular, they have not transferred the assets in their own name. There are a lot of assets company has acquired. They have acquired the freehold property, they have acquired the housing property, office premises, even the vehicle. All those things have been acquired. But even after 4 years, it continued to be in the former owner's name, where it is featuring the balance sheet of the company. That is what it has happened in this particular case. Then again, excess remuneration payment. This is a very classic case. What has happened in this company is, excess remuneration has been paid beyond the limit which is actually prescribed. When the inquiry was conducted, the matter was taken up with the company. They said, we have passed a special resolution. What is the special resolution? Special remuneration will be paid in accordance with section 197, 198 of the Companies Act. They say there is a ministerial circular is there, actually, MCA has issued, that under these sections we are permitted to pay excess salary. So since we have said according to the 197, 198 we can take. So we have paid the excess remuneration, we are well within the compliance. That is what they have said actually in this particular case. ROC has totally very clearly said, sorry, special resolution means you have to specify very categorically you are paying in excess of the remuneration which is already specified. Your resolution is not explicitly mentioning that. So this is not acceptable. That is what it has happened in this particular case. They have been actually penalized. There again, failure to file the charge. This is Trupal has already mentioned about the charge creation, etc. Here. They create a charge, the no charge sheet has been filed. What has happened in this? It is the secured loan which is actually taken from the bank against the vehicles. Now, when they wanted to file the charges, they went to the bank. Bank has actually told them there is no need to file the charges because hypothecation has been already created, so there is no need. Company simply listened, they have not created the charge. ROC said very clearly, hypothecation is something different because you are safeguarding your vehicle. Because appropriate time after the loan is repaid, etc., it will be revert back to your company's name, etc. That is something different. But since you have created the charge, you have to file the charge creation. That is one thing. Here again, the director, independent director, all those people who are issued the notice, independent directors, of course, because of they are not involved in the day-to-day operation, etc., by virtue of that immunity given under section 149, subsection 11, whatever it is. So they have actually got over the exemption. The rest of the people have been actually penalized. That is what it has happened in this particular case. Then again, private company converted into a public company. Fine. But the problem is the letterheads not changed. Old letterheads has been used, section 12. Then again, the requirement of the independent director. Then again, the appointment of the KMP. then appointment of the committees, all the things were not actually done. The different sections, they have been actually penalized. This is something totally they have actually missed out. Then again, small shareholder appointment. Some inquiry has taken place. The company was required to appoint the small shareholder. They are not appointed the small shareholders. So ultimately, here again, they have been actually penalized for the small shareholder because here they are taken right from the day the notification has been given for the small shareholders. So till it was almost about 4 years the company has not appointed. That's what they have done in this particular case. Coming to the practicing professional, there are also cases of there. Initially, as I said, in a Sun Pharmaceutical case, I have said actually, similarly, SR shipping case also it has happened. He has issued the secretarial audit report in violation of the provision of the Companies Act. That is what it has happened. Many things not disclosed. The company secretary was penalized around 2 lakh rupees in this particular case. And similarly, Sun Pharma we have discussed initially only because the related party transaction, it was an elaborate order where 2 lakh rupees have been penalized as the company secretary. Then again here, incorrect certification of the annual return. Annual return has been actually filed. Filed timely. But the thing is, there are many things which is either missed out or it is incorrectly filed. So here again, the incorrect filing, the certifying authority of the company and also the practicing company, both were actually penalized. The penalty of the practicing company secretary was about 2 lakh rupees here in this case. Then again, return of allotment, again wrong certification has been done here. Here again, the signatories, that is who's are signed on behalf of the company, and again the practicing company secretary, they have been actually penalized in this particular case. Although we talked about discussing adjudication orders under the Companies Act, but nevertheless, listed companies, they are also governed in addition to ROC orders under the Companies Act. They are also governed under the LODR regulation. LODR regulation covers lot many things, not only the Companies Act, but also LODR regulation covers insider trading, related party transaction, takeover code, all those things which are there. So equally, SEBI also has been taking the non-compliances very seriously. And the matter is actually dealt by the SEBI adjudicating officer from the SEBI. They passes an order. Of course, you have an appeal mechanism with the SAT. That is actually there. So one of the case actually insider trading, it has happened is a very popular case. It was B. Ranganathan cases which has actually came up here. Here the whole idea was the trading window was not actually closed at a particular time for the price sensitive information was actually there. So in this particular case, the company secretary was held responsible unless SEBI has taken up the matter. Initially, he was fined about 5 lakh rupees. They went appeal. In the appeal, the fees got reduced to 5 lakh to 1 lakh rupees, which has actually happened in this. The second thing is again related party transaction violation, improper approval of the related party transaction which has taken. Because here they have actually said it is the independent directors, their failures. That is what, because Forsonic audit has been taken place, it is like that. That is what they have actually taken. So in this case, the independent directors have been actually penalized to the tune of 10 lakh rupees of the 2 independent directors. That is what they done along with the company secretary as well. That is what it has happened because nowadays, you know, the related party transactions are required to be approved only by the independent directors in the audit committee. That is what the requirement is there under the LODR regulations. That is what it has happened in this particular case. Then again, there is a multiple violations that taken place on the LODR. There's a classic example I just thought. So I'm just bringing out what are the issues which has happened. There was a violations on the shareholding pattern, financial result, corporate governance report, then again annual report, then the investor complaints, adequate measures are not taken place. In the voting writing, irregularities were there. Then again, the composition board itself was actually challenged. It was not in accordance with the composition. Women director was actually not there. Audit committee was not constituted. Nomination committee was not constituted. And again, the constitutional stakeholder relation committee was not there. All these cases also, they have taken up the matter. They have actually penalized in this case. And before I close, I would like to touch upon the landmark judgment which has actually taken place initially, which I said, Linde India case. The Linde India case, what has happened is, if you see, they had a series of contracts with their joint venture company, Linde India Limited with Parex Air India. They have had a series of complaints. But the thing is, somehow they were trying to, what you call the SEBI or the SAT, they use the word, what you call playing the word game. That is what they have said. They are telling, related party transaction and transaction with a related party are different. That is what they actually started arguing with that. So materiality assessment, they have applied in respect of each individual contract instead of going by for the financial year. If we actually look at it, they say very clearly it is actually for the financial year, you have to take in totality. That is what the law says. But here they try to argue the related party transaction with the related party. That is one thing they said. And the second thing is there again, they have also argued saying, they are saying in a particular thing with respect to a contract, that is the individual contract. That is what they started arguing with that. But anyway, SEBI has very tightly gone in this particular matter because they actually came out very heavily because we are actually bringing to ensuring the compliances, whereas this company trying to escape the compliances, whatever the mandatory approvals required, they are trying to manipulate the transaction to avoid the compliances. That is what it actually came out. And again, here the SAT very heavily came back. They used the word, there is no room for word comes on related party definition. That is the appropriate word they have used actually in our bottom in this. And not only that, in this case also, the SAT relied upon the guidance note issued by ICS. That has been referred. They said materiality assessment, the company has to go by the guidance note issued by the ICSI Institute. So that means it brings to the importance to us to know our own institute guidance notes. We have to get familiar, we have to adhere with that because institute is doing a wonderful job. People like you and Sudhagar and Dipti, all you people are there in the secretarial board. You are all boiling your midnight. You are all bringing at very important things, etc., which is ultimately not serving the purpose for many of the people. Many people don't even aware of this sort of a thing. This is what it is trying to notice. That is what I think. I think with this, I come to the end of the discussions. Of course, the question answers are there in the chat box. We will go through. We will try to take the things. And before I close, I would like to again tend to quote one quote by the Peter Drucker. He says, doing the right thing is more important than doing the thing right. That means efficiency will come in doing the things right, but the effectiveness will come only doing the right thing. That is what I would like to actually say. With that, I say thanks. Then I close the sharing of my screen. I think let us look into the chat box.
Chat box queries. Otherwise, you can even ask if they have any queries to speak.
RO written company secretary finds on the same of the things pro rata criminal cases. And the company secretary, please suggest what should I do in a criminal case for doing the. I signed the annual report of the company secretary. There was some discrepancy in the accounts. ROC filed criminal case against the directors and the company secretary. Please suggest what should I do in the criminal case is still going on in the Alipur court. But I don't know, criminal case means, is it involving fraud or it is involving misappropriation, any such things? Because without having that, it is difficult to answer this particular question.
Yeah, the full facts are not there. But at the same point of time, by merely by merely company secretary signing the balance sheet, okay, that he is not taking the ownership of that. There are some decided case laws on that. The company secretary responsibility towards the financials. See, directors, no doubt about it, they are responsible for the financial statements if they sign that. And as far as the CFO is concerned, also equally responsible. Because now equally CFO also has to sign the balance sheet now. Whether he signs it or not, he will be held responsible definitely. So by merely signing it itself is not imposing any additional responsibility. Ultimately, whose responsibility is this? It is the board's responsibility to give that full compliance as far as the financial statements are concerned. And in addition to that, of course, CFO being the head of the department, his responsibility will be there. As far as company secretary's responsibility is concerned, if any kind of disclosures or dissemination of information is required in the financial statements as per the act, if he is not given, yes, then he will be held responsible for that.
Sudhakar sir, each and every bit what you said is actually correct and touched our heart. But often we are discouraged to speak right things in the smaller listed companies. However, we understand our responsibility is standing the right side and take the profession to the another level. Thank you. That is what he is actually saying to me.
Thank you.
Is it possible to get the presentation? The presentation matter we have been talked in the past also. Presentation is not shared actually, but the recorded webinar will be available to you, which actually contained the presentation. That is one thing. And second, I think somebody's mic is on. Can you put it up, please? I am a company secretary in the listed I signed the company secretary as a company secretary and the ROC file. It's the same case, I think so. Yeah.
वर्ली नाका से सीधा आट्रिया मॉल की तरफ
दीप्ति मैडम बात कर रहे हैं.
Dipti, please put your yeah. Go ahead, Bala.
When we say receiving or giving, I think this you address actually. This is a
Yeah,
gift related matter. Sudhakar has already addressed this actually. If the same so not allowed, okay. Is arrangement factory visits for the shareholders non-compliance. So arranging the visit is actually not the question. Question is actually this is a company's discretion. The company want to get the thing, they organize normally the visit. In some of the companies where the proprietary issue and confidential matter is there, they take to the selected areas. In some of the companies, they don't even permit to have the visit. It is up to the discretion. There is no question of compliance, non-compliance comes in this nature, according to me. What do you say, Chulpat?
Yes, sir. See, in one of my client, every year they ask, let us have a factory visit at the AGM. It was a physical meeting, but look at that. Company is into defense, regulated by a particular regulation. So you have our own what is that limitations to show any factory because it's regulated by the Ministry of Defense. So we say we can't do it. Maybe other sector they may show it. Depends upon the nature of the industry.
In fact, we have been actually.
See, there also, there is an issue there in case of listed companies. In fact, in one or two companies, what happened is, as a goodwill gesture, the board has decided and they have taken the shareholders to that. Then the remaining shareholders started complaining that only the people who are in Bombay, you have taken them. How about other states? Why you have not extended that invitation to us? We would have come to Bombay and from there you would have taken us there. So it is an unnecessary headache. So unless until it is imperative or something like that, as far as possible, better to avoid that.
On most of the cases, adjudications are actually revenue based and revenue biased. And the appeal also went to RD against the MCA appointment is aggrieved order. On the RD, there is no provision for any appeal before the NCLT or any other forum, or we have to actually income tax, etc., against orders of the CIT. Now, even after the GST also have appellate tribunals actually formed without the presence of any judicial members, the orders seem to be unilateral in the nature and decided in favor of the revenue only. Further, it is observed that there is a few limitation of the passing the adjudication order. Once any discrimination is noticed, the ROC digs back to the past many years on his own discretion and will. There should be a difference between the error of the offense, even the typo error and the small ID, date error, board meeting, inviting adjudication. This will affect the practice appellate of the young professional, and they are the ones who mostly serve as the small companies.
Yeah, see, there are two issues. What they're asking, what is inherent defect of this 454? See, in any legal system, you have two appeals. You take any legal system, like you have NCLT, NCLAT, then you have above Supreme Court. Whereas in the adjudication under the Companies Act, you have to file or they will initiate the process under 454, that is a ROC. Then if you are agreed by the ROC order, you should go to the only RD. Suppose you didn't get the justice before the RD, even it may be question of fact or it may be question of law. Both the cases, there is no further appeal that is available as if law does stand today. They should have given this appeal at least before the NCLT or NCLT at least. NCLT at least should have been given. That is missing in this particular adjudication process. The next thing that what maximum you can do, you should invoke the writ jurisdiction under 32 or Article 32 or the 226 of the Constitution. But each one cannot go under this jurisdiction. So the justice is not finally concluded here. So in the case, yes, as you said in this order, there are certain internal circulars issued by the ministry for the each and every RD office that you should not, use too much discretionary power to reduce the penalty levied by the ROC unless it is a technical in nature, unless there is a calculation error, unless there is a miscarriage of justice, gross negligence or miscarriage of justice. So these things are there. So most of the RD officers, they are by and large, they say whatever ROC has taken, that is correct only. Maybe some cases, yes, there are cases where the provision itself says up to, like example, you say the 96, of course, 96 goes to the compounding. But there are certain sections, there is a word up to. The penalty can be up to, and daily penalty are up to. Like that, those cases, RD is considering and using their discretionary power based on the facts of each case, and they are reducing it. By and large, they are not reducing because they have got some internal circulars which they don't show to us. They say it is because the decision taken by the ROC seems to be appropriate as per the facts of your case, and the law mandates him to levy the minimum, whatever is there, that he has levied. So I have no further thing to reduce it. It is happening most of the cases.
Can you please also cover the aspect of the auditors claiming that they have nothing to do with the secretarial auditor? I think you talked about the auditor, the secretarial auditor.
It was covered, yeah.
Is there any lenient approach by the ROC that we can go subo to adjudication like approval or criminal cases? I don't think ROC can do anything. ROC will go only by the letters which are there in the section. That is all. Any discrimination is only at the RD's level, that too also purely on merit based. Otherwise, it is not there. But I have seen a lot of cases where it is really a merit based. He has given his thought and he has given the reduction, he has given the appropriate relief, etc., which he has actually given. But ROC level, nothing will actually take place actually. You can file GC.
Yeah, CSG 1 is talking, Mr. Tyagi is talking about CSG 1.
E-hearing is a matter of discussion that you already addressed.
That was already addressed.
Okay, very interesting, good interpretation. Okay. If the concerned person was not negligent, why is he penalized in the first place?
Yeah, this is again why we said, you have told in this, the order, it says clearly that penalty should be paid from their personal packet. Like example, I will give you, there is an independent director appointment. Now, company secretary, even he cannot enter into the board meeting. Even if he enters into the board meeting, he has no power to appoint any independent director on his own. This was raised by the original director in one of my client case. Independent directors were not there. And the section, that is a officer in default section, says if there is a KMP, other directors are not responsible. So we filed a case involving only the KMPs. Then RD has asked me, tell me whether CEO, CFO or company secretary do have a right to enter into the board meeting. Okay, they have a right to enter into the board meeting. Can appoint the independent director. First question asked, you made them only as a applicant. What about rest of the directors? I said, I have read the officer in default definition, and it says any of the following officer in the sequence wise. If you see the first one, there is a alternate director. Next one, there is a KMP. Then the third one says clearly in the absence of KMP that rest of the board member or the directors who have specified the non-compliance will be held responsible. So I argued that way, and I placed before since they have a 3 KMP, like a CEO is there, CFO is there, company secretary. RD declined to pass an AD order. RD says clearly they have no power to appoint independent directors. How the independent directors can be appointed by these fellows? It is a board's responsibility. In fact, he has rejected our application, mandated us to add the all other director, and you, as I made you to read the 205 subsection 1 and A and subsection 2, he told very clearly, company secretary from time to time he has placed before the board about the non-compliance of section 149 or the 177 or 178. And what the wrong he did, tell me, why I should penalize him? I should penalize the entire board for not taking the call of appointing independent directors. So he says, no, I will not penalize you. You make that them also as a party to the proceedings. So here it is very clear. You need to be see where you are, no, what is the fact that you are able to produce before the case. Like negligence, not a negligence. Yes, he has recorded each and everything in the minutes and same is produced before the regulatory. Regulatory cannot take a call against the company secretary.
In case of the compounding of the delay in conducting the AGM, any other adjudication will attract the delay of filing the financial statements and annual return.
Yeah, there are two aspects. If you look at the section 96, if there is a delay in conducting the AGM, delay in conducting AGM is one front. Once you delay, then you can go for a compounding. Once there is a delay, then you will conduct the AGM and post AGM within the 30 days, you will file the AOC 4. That is not considered to be delay. Once you conduct the AGM, you will file MGT 7 also within the 60 days. That is not considered to be delay in general. You don't need to go for adjudication. But if you look at the section 92, subsection 4, similarly section 137, subsection 1, they are independent compliances are there. Whether, like example, additional director, whether you conduct AGM are there, he will be there till the date of AGM. Post AGM, he will cease to be director. Similarly, section 92 mandates you to file an annual return whether you conducted or not the AGM. With a reason, you should file the MGT 14. MGT 7, you should file with a reason why you did not conduct AGM from the due date within 60 days. From the due date within 60 days, you have not filed. Whenever you file after conducting AGM, but system will collect the filing fees from the original due date. It will collect daily 100 rupees. Similar to that, 137 also, suppose accounts are ready, audited, and placed before the shareholder. Shareholder did not agree those accounts. Now, board has to file those accounts as a provisional accounts in form MG AOC 4 with a reason why they are not adopted. If the accounts are ready, not like an unaudited thing. No, if the accounts are ready, board report is there, placed before the shareholder, they didn't agree. As per 137, those accounts are supposed to be filed within 30 days with a reason why the accounts were not adopted within the due date. So, if you have filed these two due date returns, there is no further adjudication. But recently, that is I think 2021, somewhere they modified the provisions of section 454, subsection 3. Below there is a one provision they added. Okay, boss, you have conducted AGM delay and you have filed the returns. But they say clearly, before issuing any notice from the ROC, if you have filed the return and I say it is settled, matter is settled, within 30 days you should have filed the before issuing notice, either adjudication, whatever it is, or before within 30 days from the notice. So once you file the returns, the section 3, subsection 3, 454, proviso says clearly, any proceedings under 454 with respect to the non-filing or delay filing of annual return or a balance sheet, no proceedings can be initiated by the ROC if the returns are already filed means no initiation. That means no adjudication comes. So the whole idea I'm trying to tell, in case of delay in AGM, if you are able to file these two returns within the due date, there is no adjudication. Okay, that is one chance. You conducted AGM, delay is there, but annual returns were already filed after delay. Again, the 454 subsection 3 proviso supports you. So no adjudication. Only AGM continuation delay you should go. No adjudication is required to be filed as long as you file the return with additional fees.
Can a CFO and CS of a single person can be in a public limited company?
I feel the institute is not allowing. Okay, go ahead.
In fact, really speaking, if we go a strict reading of the section, whole time the word which they are actually using it. And second thing is there even as per the institute stand also, it should be a two different individual for the each position. But here the question is very pertinent because in the practical life also, even in the listed companies too, there is a single person is actually
Having
holding
both
the
positions.
both portfolios. So long as regulatory has not taken any action, we cannot comment anything on that, but we don't know the day when the regulatory will take the action. Once the regulatory action takes place, then we'll know what is happening, what is the standard, the things are changing. That is what we'll have to actually see. Till then, yes, it is there. There is no definite thing in there, but our institute stand is very clear. It should be two different individuals. Can I get the presentation through the email, please? I mean the video and audio. It is
No,
available
the
on the
video,
YouTube
audio will be
channel.
available online. No, that is there.
Okay,
With
that is
presentation, audio, video,
Mm.
that is there in YouTube channel. Okay.
Circulation of the signed minutes of the board is prescribed under SS1. Can board pass the resolution approving waiver of the circular signed minutes asking for a private company?
I am doubt, sir, whether the
No,
statutory
no,
requirement can be waived off.
it can be done. It says that waiver of the signed copy of the minutes, you can get it waived. But draft minutes, definitely you have to circulate that. And in this
Yeah.
particular thing is clearly mentioned in the guidance note itself. If you read the guidance note, you will come to know about it.
Yeah,
Please
it is
read
there
SS1
very,
guidance.
yeah, very clearly it is there. You can actually take, but only thing is you have to document it, you have to give a thing, then it can be done. Yes.
And this waiver is to be taken and have to be recorded in the minutes also.
That
And
is
whenever a
concerned, sir.
new director joins, you have to take waiver from him separately.
Only signed minutes, no, sir. Not the circular.
Not the,
Signed
only
minutes.
for the signed minute, not for the
Yes.
draft minutes.
Signed minutes, yes, you can do it.
In case of the non-compliant pertaining to the appointment of the ID, whether the disclosure of the same MGT7 is required under compliance declaration.
Yeah, if you look at the section MGT7, para 11, there is a one statement that every company which is filing MGT7 is to be made. It says applicable, compliance of applicable provisions of the Companies Act. That the radio button should be ticked. It has a no and yes button. And if there is a non-compliance with respect to the ID, I feel it should be, because if I take the scope of, like example, there is a secretarial audit, there is MGT7, there is MGT8. And if you look at the MGT7 para number 11, it appears to be it is more dangerous than a secretarial audit. One liner you are saying entire Companies Act has been compliant. One liner. It is more dangerous than the MGT7. At least MGT7 you have at least 13, 14 points, then your scope is limited. And secretarial audit, at least there is a basis of test set basis, all those things that you can do it. Whereas when it comes to the MGT7, I don't think you can take any such logic and say no. So here, for this to answer this query, it should be either yes or no. And if you say no, there is a box is given in which are the non-compliance that are there should be figured out, should be clearly mentioned over there. Otherwise, it is a non-compliance. Even the person who is signing as a company secretary, outsider, PCS or insider, that man also will be responsible for ticking it as a yes or no if it is not appropriate.
Sir, in one of the cases, the ROC removed the company's name despite having changed towards borrowing by the company. How ROC can get away with their responsibility?
Sir, we don't know, sir. See, what happens, charges are there. Charges were not filed or filed, but filed in the old system which not migrated to the MCA system. So the ROC would have given a command to close down those companies not having charges virtually. So company would have been closed. The charges at virtual is there. If it is still open, then ROC should not have done it. But you have to see the case. We don't know what is the case here.
What if the compliance is done and corrective action was taken post receiving the show cause notice from the ROC? Do we still have to have a compounding? Now, not the compounding, it is adjudication. But there is a specific exemption has been given only in case of the annual return and financial statements only. That is section 134 and section 190, section 92. If within 30 days from the receipt of the show cause notice, if the compliance is actually done with it, it will be treated as if it is a compliance, so no action will be taken. But in all other cases, whatever the due date till the date of the compliance is made and the non-compliances continue to be there, then you are actually liable for the penalty for that period. That is definitely the case. Circulation of the board minutes, okay, it's the same question again, private company. Filed MGT 7A, where the turnover mentioned the said file was contains inadvertent clerical error. Can company apply for the ROC adjudication order under section 454, 450 and 446B?
Yeah, it can be done because if you see the section 92 under which we are supposed to file MGT 7 or 7A has no penal provision. It has only penal provision for delay filing. Subsection 4, I think, speaks about only for delay filing. It doesn't say content and whether the content is in order, all those things. And so they left open to the general penal provision of 450. So you can file under 450. 450 now they converted from the criminality to the decriminality. There is a 10,000 is the one time. If it is continued once daily, 1,000 rupees is there. But this is being one time, so you can go under that 450. And of course, 446, that is about small company. The penalty will be 50% of the actual penalty. That both can be avoided.
In spite of filing the form with additional fees, the condonation of the delay is actually required. No, additional fees, if you have filed, it is actually a delayed compliance. There is no question of condonation of delay is there. Because condonation of delay is you are not filed, you want to file it now, then only the condonation of delay comes into the picture. Here it is already a compliance is made, but the difference is instead of due compliance, it is a delayed compliance which has been actually made. So there is no condonation will be required. But only thing is here, the period of delayed compliances may attract the penal action for the period where you are actually non-compliance. That is the thing. Can you please allow me to speak? Yes, of course, we will allow you. There is no problem. Circulars or sign minutes, we have talked about it. In the case of the criminal case, like to speak and state by point, okay, no problem, we'll hear from you. In case of the compounding of the same accounts committed by the different periods of the default, can a single application filed if it is here? That I think he has explained actually.
Yeah,
Year to
it
year, he
can
has
file.
given the
See, you
example.
can accumulate all the non-compliances of under the compounding section 441, but it should be from the same section, means related to the same section. You can club them, maybe like suppose year 1 you didn't comply for AGM, and the year 4 you didn't comply, year 7 also you didn't comply. Now year 1, year 4, year 7, together you can club and you can go. Here what we need to understand, the 3 years. So NCLT rule says clearly 3 years once you can go and knock the door. 3 years once, we should keep in mind. 3 years once or RD. 3 years once you can go and knock the door. It says from the date of compounding, next 3 years you should wait. It doesn't say you should not commit it. If you committed, you cannot go for compounding next 3 years. During the 3 years period, ROC may initiate the criminal action against it. But ROC doesn't do criminal action. Assume that after 3 years you can go for again compounding.
In government companies, some of the minutes are not serially numbered. Can I actually number it through the pen in my tenure of the company secretaries, or since the beginning I could be able to make it?
You can pass a resolution instead of having any printed numbers. You can pass a resolution. See, at the end of the day, you should be very clear. It should not lead to the tampering of the records. Tomorrow you should not get penalized for that. You can take an appropriate board decision to set right those numbering, and there is a numbering mission that is available. No, you can use those numbering missions, but with the board approval. Let the board only take the call. These numbers, as already numbered, we can't refer properly for the future purpose. So we want to put the numbers by using the numbering mission. Let the board take a call, and you can do it. As long as it's not a tampering, I think it should be fine.
Then even according to me, board approval is not required. You refer to the guidance note on SS1 about this page numbering and all. It is very clearly, elaborately, it is explained. Please go through that. See, unfortunately, that is what I always say, that we don't go through the guidance notes and all. Then this kind of questions, silly questions comes here. Please go through that very elaborately. How the paginization is to be done, that is explained there in that. Whether you have to do it continuously, you have to do it, or year-wise you can do it, and everything is mentioned there.
Can appointment of the first auditor be done by the circulation?
There is no bar, sir, because 179(3) doesn't cover that particular thing. So it says simply we should appoint an auditor as per 139(6), I think. within 30 days from date of incorporation if the board fails within next 3 months by the shareholders in the general meeting. But as far as the board meeting is concerned, only they mentioned 30 days, there is no meeting. Okay. Since we conduct the meeting within 30 days, so generally we conduct it. Suppose you want to appoint before that, you can pass a circular resolution and appoint first auditor. There is no bar in the section.
The journal 3, a form to be file the details of the officer in default as per the section in which it details. If one who is the designated person is an officer in default, in the whole of the act, there is no specific facility in the form.
Yeah, see the problem with this particular GNL 3, if you look at the section where you can make either director as a specified person for default or the any officer below the board to make him as any one of the employee as a officer in default, it says any provisions including, it starts with any provisions, then it includes books of accounts, maintaining, drawing the board's report, this. This word includes and any provisions been added in the 2013 Act, but in the old Act, they have clearly mentioned in which provisions you can appoint. So, whereas the form GNL 3 is been designed only to specify the sections and the persons. So, considering the form designing, it is better to file a section wise a form, maybe 4 or 5 forms or 5 6 forms are needed for same person. It is better to file. Tomorrow ROC, if he comes out saying that there is a non-compliance of a particular section, then certainly he may ask. But better you at least board resolution, let it be there clearly mentioning he is responsible for various provisions, clearly mentioning. Next one, when you get his consent, because without consent you can't appoint him. In the consent also, let there be sections or the old act, whatever it is that you want to mention, let it be clear. But file the form, one or more forms based on the important section. That is my submission. Because we are also facing the same problem in one of my client case. Form is not designed as per section.
For vacation of the office of the director as per section 167, from when is the 12 months computed? Kindly open.
This also is there in the guidance note. Please go through that.
I think I am done with all the questions. There are 3 people who have risen the hand. One is the Anil Doshi. Second is the Sanjay Agarwal. Third is the Ashok Tyagi. You can unmute and you can speak, please. Any one of you. Anil Doshi, Sanjay Agarwal, and Ashok Tyagi. Any one of you, please. Are you all there?
Are they able to speak or not? I don't know even that also. Have they been allowed to unmute?
Yeah, that is Dipti only can answer.
I'm just checking. Wait.
No, I think they are not been allowed to unmute.
No option. Ashok Tyagi says no option.
Wait. I think I know that Saddam has to do that.
I instructed. That was only I was doing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
I just wanted to add 3-4 things. It is very big. One thing is section 42, where the penalty is not minimum. It is something, and I have taken orders 2-3 years back, where it is 2 crore rupees. I got it for 10 lakh rupees or something like that, and it was. Secondly, CG1 was dispensed with, as Thurupal was also saying. They used to take 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. But of late, what happened in one of the... Okay, another thing which Balaji said that about appointment of a non-resident managing director. You see, the appointment can be done, but that will be subject to the approval of the central government. And in some cases, last year, what happened, I've been interacting with the ministry very often. Everybody knows. So, in some cases, there was a delay of 10 days or 1 month or whatever. But earlier, the condonation of delay, there was no separate form, but there was a button. If the application is late and you add 20,000 rupees and application deemed to have been made. In this case, the client has attached a condonation of delay application, but the ministry has rejected the application, saying that you are not complied with whatever section 197 or 196. And then we discussed with the joint secretary, and one of our very intelligent officer in policy has suggested that the condonation of delay can be done only by the Registrar of Companies. I question myself and to the government that there is an application to be made to the central government, or that too for the appointment of managing director, how the ROC can do it. But unfortunately, ROC Bombay has done in some cases. So what I mean to say is that appointment can be done by of a managing director who is not there. I think I have been discussing for last 3, 4, 5 years that Schedule 5, this become redundant. This should go. They are considering. Last but not least is CG1 has already gone for last 2 years. I think 2023 or 24. The matter was discussed and I was also called in the ministry by Mr. Dua. So these things have been discussed a lot. So I just wanted to bring these facts in this thing. And as far as compounding and all these things concerned, you see interpretation, what Thirupalji is saying on 25 lakh and all these things, some interpretation, I mean, the interpretation done by the government is final. Ours is not final. As simple as that. Whatever they feel is correct, it is correct. Otherwise, we are at the mercy of the officer. All RDs have different views. All ROCs have different views. So that's it. This is what I just wanted to add. These are very important things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashok. But
Thank
one thing
you.
is there, some of the RDs are really considerable. Some of the RDs are not there. As you rightly said, it's all individuality. We'll have to live with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Anil Doshi, please. Anil, you can speak.
Mr. Sanjay Agrawal also is looking.
Yeah. Or
Yes.
Sanjay, any one of you. Either Sanjay or Anil. You are there or you are not there? Sanjay?
He is unable to unmute, it seems. He has no unmute button.
There is
This
no
is
unmute
unmute.
button. Audio, just click the audio.
They have raised the hand. He is telling that whosoever raised the hand, he has unmuted them. So please.
Sanjay, have you raised the hand? Sanjay Agarwal? If you raise the hand, you will unmute.
Now it's come. Good afternoon,
Yeah.
sir.
Good afternoon.
So my question to you was, this criminal case was filed when COVID came into picture. Now, why the ROC filed it? There was some non-provision of interest by the company. It was not given by PNB, Punjab National Bank, and because of which there was non-provision. So the company replied to ROC that we were not required to give with the CF certificate and everything. ROC just went and filed a criminal case against me and the directors, and the case is still going on. And unfortunately, the criminal case, I don't know how long it will go on, sir.
Probably you'll have to go to the High Court and ask for the squashing of the thing if you can justify it. That is the only
So
way.
I have to go to
High
hello.
Court. High Court.
Oh, High Court.
Yeah, High Court. You'll have to go to the High Court. You got to file a causing application and you have to justify. Then he can actually hear and he can cause the case if the merit is there. That is it.
So
That is the only
nothing
thing which
without
can
the
be.
High Court, because the cost and expenses will be very high, sir.
But there is no other go. It can be done because I have got it done in. I have got it done in one of the case. It was happened in the Calcutta High Court only. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Who else?
Prashant Kumar is there. Anil Doshi is there. I can see two hands actually.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Am I
Please go
audible?
ahead. Yeah. Very much. Go ahead. Go ahead, Prashant.
Sir. Am I audible now?
Yeah. Very much.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a very practical experience. While I was working as a company secretary in my previous company, that was a government company, you know, in Smart City Mission, there are so many SPVs were formed. So I was working in a Gwalior Smart City Corporation Development Corporation. So there actually, sir, I was feeling one thing that while having AGM, so basically their government CAG audit was not occurring timely. So they are doing just very delaying audit. So due to that, I was not in a position to make my AGM well in time. So I used to apply for the extension of AGM, and I also used to apprise the status of this this problem about the delaying of a government audit to ROC. ROC considerably noted and also advised me. So this is actually, it's not in your hands, Prasad. So you just do your do it. You take that extension from us, and accordingly you try your best if it is possible to get the CAG audit report within that period, then you do it. Or else, after this thing, getting the extension, you usually do your filings well in time. So that is also the compliance from your end. So you cannot do more than that. So is it a good practice, or I think this is not in our hands? So it's still, I have already left that company. One of my company secretary colleague has joined just 2 months below. He is telling me that 2022-23 audit report is now coming. So that time, that AGM I have already adjourned. So now he has to conduct that AGM. So he is telling that, sir, I have to conduct the AGM. Well, yes, because AGM, CAG report is coming today now. So what's to be done? So I just want some guidance from you, sir.
See, we had one case of similar to that. So though we have got extension, within the extension also CAG report was not there. After subsequently we conduct the AGM whenever CAG report was there, and we went for the compounding. That's all. Nothing else you can do, because things are not in your control, not in the law permit also. This is the practice. It goes by each case. Each state government case is different. Central government case of the company is different. So better thing is go by the facts. Whatever you are able to do, record your duty. Try to protect yourself. As I say, no, the recording of the facts of the each case, and whether you are there or not, facts should speak.
I think that's all. We have done with all the questions and also handwritten.
I think
Over to
One
Dipti.
question, I think then CCPS terms attached wrongly to AOA, MGT 14. Then only option is to get the MGT 14 cancelled, file one more MGT 14.
I think all questions we answered, and everyone is allowed to speak. We can. Yeah, please. Who's that?
Yes. Yes, please go ahead.
Your voice is not clear.
Your voice is
not clear.
Your voice is cracking.
Okay, well, let me change my settings. Is a little better? Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My company is a private limited company wherein AGM was not conducted for the past 3 financial years due to cases before NCLT. Now, today, I wanted to conduct an AGM, but what happened? Auditor was resigned, submitted his resignation, and he stated that because of the cases before NCLT and some other reasons, auditor submit his resignation. Now, the question is, the company appointed a new auditor, and board also agreed and identified one chartered accountant who is going to be appointed as an auditor to fill the casual vacancy and also complete the audit for the past 3 financial years. Of course, this board meeting, this appointed in the casual vacancy, board is only recommended within 3 months they're going to conduct to be approved by the members in the EGM. Now the question is there any guidance from our institute? Are there any legal provisions that statutory auditor can also conduct the past audit, because he is appointing in the current year? The auditor who was appointed for the past year submitted his resignation without completing the statutory auditors. We have been checking with the different regulatory authorities and check the provisions. Everything is silent. Even from the guidance from the ICSI also, we didn't come across anything. In spite of this company proceeded and conducted the obtaining the approval in the EGM for the appointment of the auditor who will conduct for the past 3 years. Now the question is it any legal this is? Because the company is left with no choice proceeding with this.
Let me address to you. See, what we should keep in mind, the auditor is a position in the company. The auditor is not attached to, though our form ADT1 or something says, auditor is not attached to a particular year for auditor. That is a wrong notion that our profession have it. Auditor is a position. Suppose I will give, there is a one gate, there is a security before that. 10 years ago or 10 days ago, some lorries should come to enter into the gate. Since they were late, I am not responsible today. I will not allow those lorries to enter into the gate. No, that is not correct. It is a position that you are holding. The earlier person, if you look at the tenure of the auditor, it says from the date of appointment, from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of AGM, unless you get the accounts adopted, the earlier gentleman tenure is not concluded. And he has a power to resign. So he resigned, he left. Now you are appointing. Now look at your own provision, 138 subsection 8. 139 subsection 8 says clear, this man will be there for the conclusion of the next general meeting. Now the general meeting of 2020 till not done means this man will be there for that particular.
I think some disturbance is there.
I think it's the high time. It's 1:30 and so we have to
Yeah.
close that. Okay.
Yeah.
Dipti, can you close it, please?
Yeah, I was just waiting. Okay, I think it's 1:30 and we have answered all questions. Everyone is allowed to speak. In that scenario, we are closing this our today's webinar. Thanks everyone for your participation. Thank you, Mr. Bala. As usual, you are great. And Sudhakar, and of course, Tirupal, your practical experience on the forms and everything. It's wonderful. Everyone is appreciating. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thanks a
Thank you,
lot
Tirupal.
to everybody. Have
Thank
a good weekend. Yet
Yeah.
we'll meet next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.